Saints Row games have always been the most based of sandboxes. Coolness personified thanks to a devil-may-care attitude and a finger jammed right up the pulse hole of pop culture. A great Saints Row game is the stuff of legend when compared to the more dour and somber tone of bigger sandboxes such as Grand Theft Auto. The last couple of years though have admittedly seen Saints Row drift towards more cringeworthy territory. From its glory days where it threw you into a final mission that had Bonnie Tyler's holding out for a hero blaring to downright goofy sequels that saw you becoming president of America while fending off an alien invasion, the last couple of Saints Row games jumped the shark and flipped it off before they fumbled the landing. Fast forward to right now and Saints Row is back and ready to return to its roots. It's a game that feels archaic when compared to the modern sandbox of today, a less complicated beast of mayhem and destruction that doesn't dive into obtuse and dense RPG systems that are all the rage these days. Saints Row might be old-fashioned with its approach to fun and it has nothing to offer that you haven't seen before, but that old-school charm is wrapped up in a few layers of modern graphics and useful gameplay upgrades that makes its patented brand of nostalgia hit you right in the sweet spot. The first hour of the game though? Admittedly clunky and nonsensical as you find yourself inhabiting the bottom rung of society in the new stomping ground of Santo Ileso. Once you've got past that first training hour tutorial, you find yourself in a gorgeous new sandbox. It's a mix of glitzy glamour on par with Las Vegas and the grime of New Mexico working class cities, as Santo Ileso is run by three primary factions. The muscle-headed Panteros, who can absorb a stupid amount of bullets thanks to all of the creatine running through their blood. The rich-as-hell private military company Marshall and his bleeding-edge arsenal of weapons. And stylish anarchists, the Idols, who basically resemble Robin Hood and his merry men if they were into dubstep. Enter the Saints, a new startup gang made up of you and your three closest friends. Fed up with society and being stepped on, the Saints hit the scene with attitude, swagger, and a talent for chaos as they establish themselves as the new bosses of Santo Ileso.
You called for a ride?
You said you didn't want to risk your car.
I said I didn't want to risk it for rent. I'd risk anything for you dummies.
That's where you come into play, as you'll be leading the charge in an adventure that's more grounded than previous games, but still revels in being absurd, over the top, and wackier than a Looney Tunes cartoon if it was directed by Michael Bay. Saints Row is about as subtle as root canal surgery with a jackhammer, with its themes of student debt, a cutthroat job market, and being used as cannon fodder by the wealthy. But it absolutely delights in giving you a sandbox, one in which you can make your mark on the world as you find fame and fortune. Do you want to throw yourself in front of traffic so that you can collect broken bones and quick cash with insurance fraud? You can do that. Do you want to collect toxic waste and dump it right next to a casino so that corporations can save a few bucks because screw the environment? My friend, do I have a truck filled with volatile and glowing green liquids for you? It's that outlandishness that makes Saints Row so charming, as you find yourself going from rags to riches while growing a criminal empire and fighting back against a corrupt system in an unrestrained power fantasy. As the new kid on the block, you're once again given a very detailed set of tools with which to craft your Saints boss, allowing you to create an avatar that could be your long-lost twin, a handsome fashion model, or whatever the hell it is that I created when I hit the randomizer button with my build. I kind of look like Tom Cruise, the one from Spitting Image. You can change your appearance at any time though, and there's no shortage of cosmetic shops out there that you can spend some cash at and upgrade your character with some fly threads. Heck, you can even share your boss online if you want to gift the world with a character that has a face that looks like it was driven face first into a forest of ugly trees. On top of that, Saints Row does have some RPG elements, but they never detract from the core gunplay and anarchy that you're capable of. Leveling up unlocks permanent upgrades for your health bar, but you can also throw in added abilities such as an overshield to soak up bullets, a skill that allows you to shove a live grenade up someone's butt and then hurl them away from you, or even a mighty flaming punch attack that sends an opponent flying. Why? Because shut up, that's why. Additional perks can be unlocked for the right amount of cash, and if you find yourself low on health, a takedown system provides a glorious intermittent onslaught of blows that you can pull off to pump your vitals back to full once again. In its moment-to-moment gameplay, Saints Row is a metaphorical and literal blast, as you mix it up in combat with a selection of upgradable guns, abilities and well-timed dodge rolls to brilliant effect. Driving also feels better, as each vehicle in your garage is pretty much another deadly weapon for you to collect and upgrade. In battle, you can sideswipe enemies off the road, or you can jump onto the roof and get a 360-degree view of the sandbox while pumping other cars full of hot lead. It might leave you more vulnerable, but it's another small change to the Saints Row formula that has a huge impact. This is a game that makes you feel like an action movie star from the 1980s, an almost unstoppable juggernaut dressed in the latest fashion and drop-kicking enemies with a reckless abandon. Progression from street thugs to criminal syndicate does cost money though, but with a number of side hustles, enterprises and general mayhem, you'll soon be drowning in dollars as the story progresses. There's no getting away from the fact that Saints Row has a been there, done that energy to it, but that sense of familiarity is welcome for anyone looking to get their hands on a game that feels like pure comfort junk food. Where the game does make terrific strides is with its story, as you're introduced to a cast of characters that feel like genuine partners in crime, friends who have each other's backs and are more than willing to tag along for a harebrained scheme if it promises a good time. This is where Saints Row has always been at its very best and most ridiculous, as it throws you into stories that start with a quick scheme and always have an explosive ending to them. It's that cavalier attitude and a blatant disregard for the rules that makes the latest Saints Row stand out from the pack, as this game prioritizes fun over everything else. In a world wrecked with bad news on an hourly basis, Saints Row feels liberating to play. Sure, there's no getting around the fact that it's not groundbreaking content, but when you want a game that plays loose and fast with the sandbox genre and knows just where it needs to shake up the open world formula with well-placed explosions and extortion rackets, Saints Row is the place to be. While some games are excellent, Saints Row is what you'd call good. But it's so good at being good, it becomes a masterpiece of mayhem that I can comfortably slip into whenever the fancy strikes me for some absurdly terrific havoc. Saints Row is back and fresher than ever with its updated story that pulls no punches. The core gameplay might feel very familiar, but it's also polished to a chaotic shine and enhanced by handy upgrades that gives this reboot plenty of heart, charm and anarchistic energy that makes it a blast to play.